Sometimes a TV series is so successful that even when it ends, there's a demand for it to continue. Probably the most well-known of this is After MASH, which was the sequel to the award-winning TV show MASH, which was based on the movie MASH. Although while the original shows are often beloved, more often the sequels never really catch on, and most of them only last a season or two. Here's 5 TV show sequels you may have missed or forgotten about. Three's a Crowd. Three's Company was a hugely successful TV series. It's a classic sitcom about 3 single roommates, a guy and 2 girls, living together in Santa Monica, California. Most of the episodes revolved around some sort of misunderstanding, which led to hijinks and hilarity. It ran for 8 seasons with 172 episodes from March 15th, 1977 to September 18th, 1984. This series was a remake of the British sitcom Man About the House from 1973. Three's Company had a spin-off, The Ropers, in 1979, which was based on the British show George and Mildred, which was a spin-off of Man About the House. Three's Company went through various casting changes over the years, and while I liked The Ropers, I think the show got exponentially funnier when they left, and Don Knotts joined the cast as Mr. Furley. Due to a variety of reasons, Three's Company ended in 1984. Everyone in the cast left, except for John Ritter. The network worked with Ritter to make the sequel/spin-off, Three's a Crowd. Although for me, this was a big-time Mandela effect. I could have sworn it was Two's a Crowd. The original show, Three's Company, is a play on the saying, Two's Company, Three's a Crowd. So I thought they flipped it. Three's Company, Two's a Crowd. Anyway, Three's a Crowd, much like the other shows, was a remake. It was based on Robin's Nest, which was a spin-off sequel of Man About the House. The show was set up towards the end of Three's Company. In the last 3 episodes before the series ended, they introduced the new character of Vicky as Jack's love interest in episode 20, Cupid Works Overtime. Then, the last 2 episodes of the show, Friends and Lovers Parts 1 and 2, Jack proposes to Vicky, but she declines because of her parents' nasty divorce. She instead gets Jack to move in with her in the apartment above his restaurant, Jack's Bistro. The conflict in the show comes from Vicky's father, who doesn't approve of Jack, and spent the majority of the shows trying to split him up. The series premiered on September 25th, 1984 on ABC, 1 week after the final episode of Three's Company. Much like what was started in Three's Company, the episodes of Three's a Crowd often revolved around some sort of misunderstanding. The other theme was Jack doing various things to try to convince Vicky to marry him. The show didn't do as well as Three's Company and only lasted for 1 season with 22 episodes. The last episode aired April 9th, 1985. The show is released on DVD as part of the Three's Company box set. It's available for streaming on Fubo and Pluto. Aside from some clips, the show is not on YouTube. The Brady Bunch Hour. The Brady Bunch is one of the most beloved sitcoms of all time. It was the story of a lovely lady who was bringing up 3 very lovely girls, and the story of a man named Brady who was busy with 3 boys of his own. Till though one day when the lady met this fellow, and they knew that it was much more than a hunch, that this group must somehow form a family. That's the way we all became the Brady Bunch. It ran for 5 seasons with 117 episodes. From September 26, 1969 to March 8, 1974 on ABC. In 1972, there was the animated spin-off show, The Brady Kids, which lasted for 2 seasons with 22 episodes. The Brady Bunch had 2 sequel TV movies, The Brady Brides in 1981 and A Very Brady Christmas in 1988. Although before that, in 1976, was The Brady Bunch Hour. This was a variety show with the cast, in character, doing various songs and skits. It was produced by Sid and Marty Krofft Productions, who did shows like H.R. Pufnstuf and Sigmund and the Sea Monsters. The show had almost the entire cast return, with the exception of Eve Plum, who was replaced by Fake Jan. Eve Plum was offered the job, but she would only agree to 5 of the 13 episodes, so they decided to find a replacement. The first show aired as the Brady Bunch Variety Hour on November 28, 1976, as a special on ABC. Ratings for the special were good, so they produced 8 more one-hour specials, although they now went as the Brady Bunch Hour. Unlike other variety shows, this one had a little bit of story. Mike Brady gives up his career as an architect and moves the family to Southern California. Within the show, the Bradies now make a living as a family group like the Osmonds, doing skits and songs. Living next door is Jack, played by Rip Taylor, who spends the show chasing after Alice. Alice's longtime boyfriend Sam the Butcher is never mentioned. There is also the show within a show going on that is the family living in their new life in California. It's weirdly meta. The show continued for 1 season with 9 episodes. The last one aired on May 25th, 1977. The show was originally planned to go for 13 episodes, but they only ended up producing 9. The show is ridiculous and definitely a product of its time. It shows just how popular the Brady Bunch was, that they could take these actors and put them in a variety show as their characters and people would still watch. It also showed just how popular variety shows were, which is definitely a thing of the past. The Brady Bunch Hour is not available for streaming. Some of the episodes were released on VHS and DVD, but not the full 9 for whatever reason. The first and third episodes are on YouTube, as well as a bunch of clips, but not the full series. The Bradies. Oh, we're not done with the Bradies yet. In 1990, the Bradies jumped networks from ABC to CBS. This was continuing the story that more or less presented itself in The Brady Brides. After the success of the made-for-TV Brady movies, Sherwood Schwartz, the creator of the show, wanted to make 2 more. CBS decided the ideas would work better as a series instead of movies, and The Bradies was born. Even though the Brady variety show did okay, this series ignored it. The Bradies are now all adults. The real Jan, Eve Plum, was back as her character, although this time it was Marcia, Maureen McCormick, who did not come back. The actress had just given birth to her daughter Leah, and she didn't want to commit to a weekly series. Also, she got wind that one of the story arcs for the show was Marcia becoming an alcoholic. In reality, the actress had gone through numerous trips to rehab and was a recovering cocaine user. She was afraid that if she did the show, she might relapse. This was now a very serious show, but someone still thought it would be a good idea to have a laugh track. Even though the original series was a sitcom, the new show would be more of a drama and focus on themes that made it different from the original series. They took some of the ideas from the unmade TV movies, like Mike starting a political campaign and Bobby being a race car driver. Then there were other plot lines like Bobby becoming a paraplegic, Peter breaking up with his fiancée from A Very Brady Christmas, only to date the abusive daughter of his father's political rival, and Cindy having an affair with her boss who was 10 years older than her. This ain't your daddy's Brady Bunch. The first episode aired February 9th, 1990. A major mistake was positioning the show to play opposite of ABC's TGIF block. The show was an hour long and went up against Full House and Family Matters, where it got destroyed in the ratings. Audiences didn't like the new serious tone of the show. It was like a dark deconstruction of the Brady Bunch, and they seemed determined to make it more serious and depressing. If the series would have continued, they were going to have an episode where Mike dies in a helicopter crash, which leads to Peter taking over his position as city councilman. The show lasted for 1 month before it was canceled. The last episode aired March 9th, 1990. The Bradies ran for 1 season with 6 episodes. The Bradies was released on DVD as part of the Brady Bunch TV and movie set, the 50th anniversary collection, released in 2019. The show isn't available for streaming, but some of the episodes are on YouTube. After this, the Brady Bunch moved into theaters with a very funny satire, The Brady Bunch Movie in 1995, and A Very Brady sequel in 1996. There was also another sequel, The Brady Bunch in the White House, a made-for-TV movie that aired on Fox in 2002. In 2000, there was Growing Up Brady, a made-for-TV movie that was based on what happened behind the scenes of the original show, taken from the book written by Barry Williams, who played Greg. In 1989, there was a thrash metal band called Dead On, who had just put out their first album. For the second album, they had a song called The Pressure's on Greg, which was about the episode of the Brady Bunch, The Driver's Seat. where Greg is competing with Marcia over who is the better driver. Unfortunately, with the rise of grunge, the band never recorded the album, so the song wasn't officially released. Also, because I feel like mentioning it, in 2001, Barry Williams played Dean Strickland, the music producer, in Season 3 of S Club 7, Hollywood 7. The Munsters Today. The original Munsters was a sitcom about the life of a bunch of monsters that were based on the classic Universal monsters. Herman was Frankenstein's monster. His wife Lily was a vampire. Lily's father Grandpa was Dracula. Eddie was the Wolfman. And their niece Marilyn was human. The show was a spoof on Leave It to Beaver and was made as a counterpart to The Addams Family. The show premiered on September 24th, 1964. The pilot episode of the show was shot in color, but when they decided to turn it into a series, they switched to black and white. Towards the end of Season 1, there was a Munsters Easter special, where they visited marine land of Pacific in Palos Verdes, California. The special only aired once, and it was thought to be lost media, until a located copy was donated to the Museum of TV and Radio in 1997. You can watch the special on Tubi. The show ran for 2 seasons with 70 episodes. The last episode aired May 12, 1966. It then went into syndication where it played for years. After the series ended, they brought the characters back in some made-for-TV movies. Although, for the movies, they decided to film them in color. Munster Go Home in 1966, Munster's Revenge in 1981, Here Come the Munsters in 1995, and The Munsters' Scary Little Christmas in 1996. Although only the first 2 had the original cast. Munster Go Home was filmed immediately after the show ended, and had the entire original cast except for one, Marilyn. Pat Priest didn't reprise her role, so they brought in Debbie Watson to be the new Marilyn. In 1973, there was a cartoon, The Mini Munsters, that was part of the ABC Saturday Superstar movie. That brings us to The Munsters Today. The Munsters Today was a syndicated sitcom. The first episode aired October 8th, 1988. This was made as a revival for the show, with an entirely new cast. It starts with Grandpa creating sleeping chambers, which the family can sleep in for a predetermined amount of time. It's only supposed to be for 30 minutes, but he accidentally sets it for forever. And a man is exploring the Munsters' house, which had been abandoned for 22 years. He accidentally wakes up the family, and now the Munsters continue their hijinks in the 1980s. Although the pilot episode was never aired, and it's reduced to a flashback to show how the Munsters got to the 80s. The show lasted for 3 seasons with 72 episodes. The last one aired June 8th, 1991. Although since it was syndicated, it continued on for years afterwards. In 1998, Rob Zombie released the song Dragula, which was based on Grandpa's dragster of the same name. In 2012, there was a reboot of the Munsters called Mockingbird Lane, which was developed by Brian Fuller, the creator of Pushing Daisies. ABC decided not to move ahead with the series, but ran the pilot as a Halloween special in October of 2012. Rob Zombie returned to the Munsters in 2022 when he wrote and directed the horror comedy The Munsters, a project he had been trying to get off the ground for almost 20 years. In the complete series Closed Casket Edition, they included the original 16-minute unaired pilot. I was hunting around and I didn't see any mention of The Munsters Today getting a physical release. The Munsters Today was streaming somewhere, but not anymore. Some clips are on YouTube, but not the full series. Mission Impossible. Mission Impossible is an American espionage series that aired on CBS. The show was inspired by the 1964 film Topkapi, a heist film based on the novel The Light of Day. Although the showrunners decided instead of making this program about heists, it would be about spies with clockwork-like precision doing high-tech missions. Many people think of Peter Graves when they think about the show, but Graves didn't arrive until season 2. The show ran for 7 seasons with 171 episodes, from September 17th, 1966 to March 30th, 1973. While the series was still doing well in its 7th season, Paramount decided to cancel the show because it would make more money in syndication. The team was already working on an 8th season when the cancellation was announced. Then, in 1988, the show was revived with a mostly new team, although Peter Graves returned to reprise his role as Jim Phelps. The show takes place 15 years after the original show. Jim's protege is killed, and he's called out of retirement to build a new team to track down the assassin. Later in the series, Greg Morris and Linda Day George from the original show were brought in as guest stars. The show premiered October 23, 1988. To save money on the production, the show was set to be filmed in Australia. Season 1 was in Queensland, and Season 2 in Melbourne. Because of this, many of the cast were Australian. Jane Badler, not too long after her role in the series V, was hired to play Shannon Reed. She was not Australian, so she moved to the land down under, where she stayed for the duration of the series. After the show was canceled, she loved it so much, she moved there and got married. Mission Impossible 1988 originally aired on Sundays and then moved to Saturdays, where it was doing well. The network then moved it to Thursdays and put it up against the biggest show on TV at the time, The Cosby Show, where it got destroyed in the ratings. ABC moved it back to Saturdays, but by that point, audiences had moved on. The show was then canceled at the end of Season 2. It ran for 2 seasons with 35 episodes. The last one aired February 24th, 1990. Mission Impossible, the original series, inspired the ridiculously successful movie series starring Tom Cruise, which spanned 8 blockbuster movies, with the last one being released in late May of 2025. Mission Impossible was released on DVD in 2012. The show is not available for streaming. Some of the episodes are on YouTube in Spanish. If you want to see the bonus 6th entry, as well as vote on future entries, please consider joining my Patreon. Lots of shows that continued on after they were canceled, with more to come. See you next time. Stay tuned.
Y que fue robado de la catedral hace unos meses. Creo que hemos encontrado el motivo de la muerte de Stanton.